You're listening to Hey Pal, What's New with John, Alex, and Greg. Hey Pal, What's New is a product of Sack of Sin Entertainment. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Hey Pal, What's New can be found on Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and all other podcast locations. Or check us out at sackofsin.com or heypalwhatsnew.com. Warning, Hey Pal, What's New contains explicit content. John, Alex, and Greg are a pair of vulgar Gen Xers. If you are easily offended, please stop listening and go download a nice tame podcast like the Goop Podcast. You have been warned. Here we come.
Yeah, can we get a
can we get a tapestry?
Can we get a tapestry?
Wait,
or
you know what you can get?
What?
Hello, dum-dum.
Oh shit! Wow, that's a good one right there.
Hello, dum-dum.
You know what? I searched high and low for the Great Gazoo, going, "Hello, dum dum."
Hello, dum dum.
I even watched like an interview with the guy who did the voice of the Great Gazoo, hoping he would at some point go, "Well, you know, the idea of saying hello, dum dum" to them was like. But I could not find a clip where he actually says hello, dum dum.
That's weird.
That clip comes from an episode of Family Guy.
Oh, geez. Maybe he just. I don't know.
He
if
called
ever
them dum.
I know he called them dum dums.
Sure, dum dums.
Whatever, dum dums.
Oh, hello.
Speaking of dum dums, hey everybody, it's Hey Pal, What's New? I'm Greg, and that's John Alex over there. It's Friday night, man. We're in the sweatbox. We got the fan on low. John just queefed out a candle. Everything's good. Everything's good in the world, and
It is.
Yeah, we got big stuff to talk about. We got trailers. We got a new segment and a new jingle we're gonna do later. We got trailers. I caught up on all the stuff that John Alex told me to watch.
Yes, you better fucking watch her. I swear to God, I'm going to put you out with a pillow.
Oh, don't do it. You can push my face in the pillow.
That's right.
Because I am a pillow biter. Yeah, we got rapist on TikTok and all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, man. So let's just start it off with what's new with you there,
dude. I took
chili con carno.
I had to take my two remaining school-aged children school supply shopping.
Back to school.
I don't want to go back to school.
To prove to Daddy that I'm no fool.
But on the plus side, we went to the Dutchess County Fair.
Oh, nice.
And ate $17 gyros.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I got Kate a lobster roll because it's lobster.
Yeah.
Which is, for those of you who don't know, a lobster roll is basically like lobster meat tossed with mayonnaise and then thrown into a hot dog bun.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And they charge you $17 for those too.
Yeah, it's a New England staple. Like, really. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is about lobsters.
No. They're prison food.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They're just freaking cockroaches of the sea.
Them and shrimp.
Yeah, well, I can get down on some shrimp. I'll get down with any seafood. I mean, obviously, look at me. But
look at me. I don't eat seafood.
But lobster, I don't like a food. I'm a carnivore. I just don't when I eat a hamburger, I don't want to see the freaking cow's head.
True.
I don't understand these people that get whole lobsters and rip them apart, and it's just like.
Well, you can talk to my wife. You can talk to my wife. She loves that shit.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Well, you might want to profile her or something. But anyway, yeah.
That was my week.
So you did a little Dutchess County Fair action? Yeah, that's cool. Really, the only thing that happened with me was today I actually went to go see the New Fairfield Marching Band. They had band camp.
Oh, one time at band camp, I took. Never mind.
Well, it reminded me of,
Back in the days when I was young.
God damn it, we're old. Yes. Back when the two of us would do band camp. It's always like right before school. It's hot as hell in the summer. My daughter is now band major, which is awesome. Oh. The old do something that I never was able to do.
Too busy getting fucking drunk and high all through high school.
Going in the woods, smoking cigarettes in between. That's. I always tell the story about our pal Mikey Stolper, how we met him, where he came in. I guess he just came there from the Bronx. He was living in Co-op City. And he joined the marching band, and we look at him, and we're like, we're playing, and then all of a sudden we're like, "Yeah, man, you want to go in the woods and smoke a cigarette?" He's like, "Yeah, man, that's cool." And I was like, "Well, how did you meet him?" I said, "We were in band camp and we went to go smoke cigarettes, and he had this backpack and he wrote all those like band names, like all the logos." Like, "Yeah, man, you down with SOD? Yeah, that's cool, man. Anthrax? Yeah, man, I love all that shit. Iron Maiden, of course. Yeah, you want to be friends? Okay, cool." And we were friends ever since.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was wild going to see. At the end of the week on Friday, they kind of do like a show off thing, So I got to see my daughter conduct.
Ooh.
She does 2 songs out of the 3, and then she throws on her snare. I'm very proud of her, man. She's rocking it, but poor Manal. We went there, and my girl's allergic to bees.
Oh,
so like if she gets the sting, then you got to do the EpiPen and then rush off the. I don't know, like all the. I sound like one of those old men where it's like, "Oh, my tax money goes to all this." They had this beautiful field, and it's just there's beehives everywhere.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there, and like the minute a bee comes out, it's like she's freaking out because she's afraid she's gonna get stung. And these were aggressive bees. Poor girl had to go back to the car.
Oh, I was gonna say, did she go back to the car?
Oh yeah, she's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
I don't say I blame her.
Yeah, and she just texted Zoe like, "Oh, I thought your show was, I thought it was great." And she was like, "Thank you." She's like, "Sorry, I couldn't stay. I was getting attacked by bees," which I was.
Not
I was
the
literally-
bees.
Yeah, I felt like I was in Wicker Man again. "Oh, not the bees." It was crazy, but there's that, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I'm starting work. You're starting work. I'm starting work Monday. I had to take my professional photos for the website. It was basically like.
So you got to put the GIMP mask on?
I did. Oh, my
Ball
God.
gag.
I saw it. All I have to say is Temu is a rotten fucking place.
Oh, yes, it is.
There is a ski mask. I will buy it. It's a ski mask. I'll show it to you. Maybe we'll put it on the. You can get it in black or white or pink. It's a ski mask, and it just says, "Yes, Daddy." I said, and it was like $5. I'm like, I'm getting this. Next gig, I'm coming out with the freaking "Yes, Daddy."
Oh, fuck yeah.
You have to do it.
We'll get 2 of them. We'll do an episode of the podcast just wearing the ski mask.
Yes, episode 69. We'll do that one.
That's right.
Well, it'll be like, we're not going to be like Slipknot. We'll keep it on for like an hour and a half. But, yeah, speaking of, episode 69 and stuff like that, guess what, kids? We're starting a Patreon.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're getting into the Patreon business because, keeping the lights on in this joint ain't easy. So, so we have a lot of really cool tiers, some stuff we're doing for the podcast. We'll probably launch it maybe after this episode, or we're going to do Patreon-only episodes of, like, rank stuff, deep dives into movies, all kinds of stuff like that. We're going to, for the SOSS shows, we're going to do live streams on there, so only you guys can get access to it. We have exclusive merch. We have all kinds of cool stuff for a small monthly subscription. And then there's a higher tier one. If you're a content creator and you want us to, sponsor one of the episodes, we'll do that. There's 2 tiers, and the second one, the $10 tier, you'll actually be able to be sponsors on the podcast. So if you got a new album coming out, you got, you make fucking jewelry in your basement, you give out. Look, it's either this or OnlyFans, people. So, I don't think you want to see any of this. It looks like melted ice cream. So we don't want that. Subscribe to the Patreon. It's a work in progress, but we should have it up this week. And once we do, get subscribing, okay? John, you got any news?
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, yeah. And we'll make this quick. 2 TV shows that I very much... Well, one TV show I watched is now canceled.
Cancel all appointments.
Cancel your appointment. The Peripheral, which was on Amazon Prime. They actually had a season 2 renewal, but with the strike, all these studios are trying to figure out where to cut.
It's like, not so fast, pal.
And that was the one with Grace Chloe Mortens that I talked about, or whatever, where she logs into this video game and can see the future, go to the future mentally and inhabit these a robot that was built for her to take over in the future, kind of shit. I don't know.
I just recently watched Kick-Ass 2 again. Those movies are so great. I heard that they're trying to do a reboot. No, don't touch
Please
that shit.
Don't.
You want to do a sequel? That's fine, but yeah, no. What are you gonna do? Amazon Prime, it has certain shows.
Yeah,
but it's not like they've cornered The Boys and Invincible, and that's really all I watch on there.
And now I'm upset because the other piece of news, Dune Part 2,
Electric Boogaloo.
yes, is now delayed until 2024 because of the strike.
Who saw that coming?
Well, I don't get it because I thought it was done, filmed, it's all set and ready to go. Are they just kind of putting it off?
Well, I think they're seeing because of the strike, the actors and people can't promote it. So, but something like that, I mean, I don't know. There's a real question as far as with all, with the actors and stuff promoting it, does it really move the needle as far as people going to see it? I mean, studios can still promote a movie, right?
Yeah.
But the actors themselves are not going to promote
do a press tour.
Yeah. Which, I mean, do people really? I guess they do. I mean, the poor Blue Beetle is taking a beating, and somebody, but at the same time, then you have Barbie and Oppenheimer and stuff like that. That's still doing freaking Barbie's up to like what, $1.2 billion?
Yes,
and they're not out there. So I don't know. Everybody's getting gun shy, especially with the strike. And didn't the WGA meet with the studios and basically told them to
go
chew
fuck
on,
'em. Go pound sand.
Yeah, go chew on a strap, as my mom says.
That's all the news I have. But part news, which will lead us into our other little segment here, is Rebel Moon.
Oh,
trailers.
Are we getting into?
Now hold on there 1 second here, young fella. I was thinking about maybe the two of us get down in the old pickup truck corner and hit one of them movie plexes where we can go sit down and eat a chunk of popcorn and check out some preview.
Trailers.
I know you love hitting that button.
I love that song.
But it kind of goes under news and trailers because Rebel Moon is 2 parts, right? One coming out this year on 12/22, one coming out next year 4/29.
Yep.
Inspired by Star Wars and heavy metal.
Yes,
the movie.
Apparently, this movie was a movie that Zack Snyder pitched to Star Wars, saying, "I want to do this movie," and they were like, "It's a little too Snydery. It's a little
disconnected universe too." He was like, "I don't want this to be part of like the main, canon stories. It's like somewhere else, some other planet, something that's going on. You can put it anywhere in the timeline you want. Doesn't matter, whatever."
Yeah, and they just basically were like, "It's too Zack Snydery. It's too dark." It's like, no thanks. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm going to put it out on Netflix." He shopped
it a couple other places first that didn't want it either.
Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting that when you watch the trailer, it's very epic. You get the Dune vibes, you get the Star Wars vibes, you get the what was the other one I was thinking of? It's obviously the old samurai ones, which are inspired by Star Wars and all that stuff. And it is Snydery, it's got the typical Snyder tropes to it, but color me intrigued, man. It looks really cool.
You know how much more Snyder this thing gets? Well, apparently there's 3 different versions of this fucking thing. There's the PG-13 version, there's an R-rated version, and then there's the 1 hour longer Zack Snyder's director's cut version.
It's almost
part 1.
And even Zack Snyder has said, like, it's become a joke now where he's just like, well, kind of the director's cut is what I do.
Right.
So they'll release the PG-13 one, then they'll do the R-rated one, which is the extended hour one. Okay. I tend to like his movies, his director's cuts of movies, regardless. But then it's like, all right, but I could see if they took Rebel Moon, right? And if they're putting out a PG-13 version of it.
Right.
Put it out. First of all, I'm surprised looking at this trailer. It's like, it's not going into theaters. It's only on Netflix. So you're like, it would be cool if they released the PG-13 one in theaters. Then, Netflix could say, well, we got the R-rated version on ours.
Right.
But apparently not. So, we'll see what happens. I'm sure, they'll roll out the 18 versions of it, and it's like, which one is... I tend to always, when it comes to Zack Snyder director's cut, Batman v Superman, obviously the Justice League and all that stuff, that's the director's cuts are always better with him. Even Watchmen. Watchmen is one of my favorites. So yeah, I mean, that looked really, really good. It
does. That was the only trailer I really cared about this week.
The only other one I saw was I posted it on the page. It's the Expendables 4 is coming out, which, full disclosure, I've never watched any of the Expendables movies. I've seen clips of them and stuff like that where I'm like, okay. But I'm like, who cares about these aging actors, these action stars and stuff like that? But they put out a trailer, and I guess apparently this new one is rated R, which it wasn't before.
Oh, yeah, they curse and a
lot of blood and guts and gore. Which I'm like, wait, the other ones weren't freaking rated R?
I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, a couple of weeks ago, I found out Kat had never seen any of the Expendables movie. I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. And we watched all three, the first three, boom, 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 one right after the other. The third one was so ridiculous when they started bringing in like Ronda Rousey and like, it was like
they tried to do a Fast the Furious thing where it's just like, let's keep adding new people, it's
and it
like,
didn't work. And they were supposed to be, you know, part of the Expendables now.
Yeah, well, they're Stallone and you got freaking Jason. You know what I mean?
Well,
the best way to do a Jason Statham impersonation is just to say, you know what I mean, really fast.
you know
I'm
what I
going to
mean?
go down there. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, really, it's been light on the trailers. Light on the movies, too, as far as stuff like that. I did, you know, when we get into the movies and TV, you know, like I said, there was a lot of stuff that my buddy over here watched that I was like, let me give it a shot. And, yeah, I'll tell all about that stuff. And we got some deep dives to go into some other stuff. So, well, don't we have something new that we can
Well,
play
we
for
do.
these people?
We're gonna take a quick little break to hear from our new contributor.
You asked for it. You got it.
Have you heard that brand new song? It's Holy Tank. Have you seen that Marvel movie? It's Holy Tank. Have you seen that Netflix show? It's Holy Tank. Hey, you got change in a quarter? Let's get Tolly's take on it.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Fuck you, asshole.
All right, thanks for that great intro. My name is Justin, aka Tolly, and here is Tolly's take. So, of course, the big news this week, AHSOKA. And I have to say, it is absolutely everything that I wanted it to be. Let's just call it what it is. It is Rebels Season 5. I'm going to get right into the pros of some of the things that I really liked. Obviously, Sabine. Big complaint that I'm seeing from a lot of people about Sabine, that she's bratty. She's always been bullheaded. It took me right back to Kanan when he was training her on the Darksaber. She was very bullheadish and kind of like a leader, really. She's Mandalorian. It's kind of in her blood to question authority and get riled up in her rage and see results. But I think for her, it's kind of trying to get over that's the big issue. It got her in a lot of trouble in this episode, and I think that adds a lot of character development to her and a lot of potential for her character throughout the series. So that was a good start. I thought it was very symbolic. It felt empty and lonely at times, almost a bit lost, because I think they are. They're lost, and they're looking for their friend. They're trying to prevent another war that I think eventually could lead to the New Republic either becoming the New Order or just maybe Thrawn's building some kind of army. The Knights of Ren might be introduced. Something ominous, something big is coming. But we're stuck in these two characters that are kind of like the pot calling the kettle black at times when she calls Ahsoka out. Sabine calls Ahsoka out for not having a home. A spaceship is not a home, but when you look at Sabine's home, it's a radio tower in the middle of nowhere, and she's just locked in her own thoughts and obsession of finding Ezra. So I thought that was very interesting, and I think the setting is symbolic in general. It did feel small. So some of the cons. Hera. I am not sold on Mary Elizabeth Winstead being Hera. I don't think she acts like Hera from Rebels. I don't think that she looks like Hera. And I would love to know where Hera's child is, or now adult or teenager that she had with Kanan, and that's where we last saw her. I think it's pretty awesome that she has the role that she has, that she's a general, and she has that authority and that pull. She definitely deserves it. But I'd just like to see, and hopefully they get into what the kid is doing. Maybe the kid's a pilot. That'd be awesome, or maybe he's being trained in the Force. Finally, everyone else, I think, looks the part, especially Rosario Dawson. She looks amazing as Ahsoka. I just kind of miss Ahsoka. I don't know. This Ahsoka is an adult. This Ahsoka is, they're going for that Zen, that Jedi Zen adult Jedi, whatever they want to call it. She ponders. She kind of, even in the way she moves, it's just kind of very slow. And sometimes I just want to say, get on with it or spit it out. It's kind of dry. It's kind of boring. The fight scenes are great. I do like the direction. I think Rosario Dawson herself is an amazing actor, but I just, I kind of miss the old Ahsoka from Clone Wars and Rebels. But there was a progression there. The Ahsoka in Rebels was more adult than in Clone Wars, so it is only natural. I think it works better when you have scenes here and there of that Jedi that's a little dry, and when she's the actual focal point of the whole story, that's where it's just kind of weird. So this has been Tolly's Take. You can follow me on Instagram at the Garden State Picker, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Let's get Tolly's take on it. Keep the change.
Hey, check that out, man. It was Tolly's Take right there. We promised you. We'd unleash the Tolly, and we did.
I'll pull up my Tolly for you.
Thank you to Justin, Garden State Picker, for giving us a little Tolly's Take on Ahsoka. So, yeah, that'll be a segment that we have. Anytime there's a good tentpole thing, I always enjoyed his takes on the Facebook stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When he does the writing of it. So we were like, let's give it a shot. And, so that's
I'm working
the
on
debut.
Justin has a lot of detail.
Yes.
Now, what did you think of Ahsoka?
I enjoyed it. At first, I was kind of like a little iffy to it, but the more you watch other shows and you deep dive into it and you get some more of the lore, I think definitely for people that haven't seen Rebels, they're gonna get a little lost.
Yeah.
Because some people
said, "Oh, you don't need to see any of the Rebels or Clone Wars stuff to get it." And it's like, yeah, you do.
You don't necessarily have to. I think you'd enjoy it more if you know the Rebel stuff. But, yeah, I mean, it's weird. People are praising about it, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. As far as look, there's I texted my boy over here when it was on and we watched it, and I said 2 words: double tap.
Hell yeah!
Because one of the criticisms I had about it is like, all right, so Sabine is fighting this Jedi Padawan. We don't know where they are. I'm sure that'll come down.
Sure,
come out down the road. They're fighting, and what is the deal with the new Star Wars stuff? It happened in Obi-Wan. It's happening in this. She gets a lightsaber through her body. Now, granted, it wasn't. Maybe it was off to the side or something like that.
Because it cauterizes the wound as it goes in and comes out.
It must, because then you cut to at first, I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I was like, oh shit, they freaking
killed her in the first episode.
Yeah, I was like, that's pretty cool. And then the next one, it's like she's in a hospital bed. And I'm like,
wakey, eggs and bakey.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, and it happened in Obi-Wan too with the Inquisitor, and it's like, don't these it goes all the way back to Obi-Wan. It goes all the way back when freaking Anakin was a deep fried freaking turkey, and it was like,
I'm just gonna leave you there to die.
All right,
no, finish the job.
Yeah, fucking cut his head off, chopped at least with Anakin with Dooku, he freaking gave him the old how do you do with the freaking 2 things and cut his head off. Like Vader too. He's like freaking in Obi-Wan. He gets I forget her name of the Inquisitor. Does the same thing, stabs, and she how do they live?
I don't know.
How do they live? Qui-Gon got 1 fucking stab by Maul, and he was dead. Freaking Obi-Wan.
Even Maul got cut in half and lived.
Yeah. Nobody dies in Star Wars, which I'm not saying everybody should die in Star Wars, but at the same time, it's like, if you're going to commit, fucking commit, dude.
Yes.
Just do it, As far as anything else, the Rebels characters, Sabine and Hera and stuff, I enjoyed, Good seeing Chopper, that son of a bitch.
I said the same thing Tolly did, too. It's like Rebels Season 5.
Yeah. And that's what we expected, Rosario doing Ahsoka, I got definitely some Jedi Fallen Order vibes when she's moving the thing around to get
that's in my little review I have here.
Yeah, I want to get your take. And the only other thing I want to mention too is, like I said, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I'm excited about it. It's it's up there. It's good to see lightsabers back in Star Wars now.
Sure.
After a break with Andor and all that stuff, which Andor is still the gold standard for me.
It is.
So it was like, it's cool to see some Jedi, you know, Sith kind of stuff. And
There's stuff in Andor that this show is lacking.
yes. And you know what? The only other thing I'll leave with is, can we stop with the maps?
Oh my god!
Everything. It's like we had friggin' Force Awakens where they had the secret map, and the other one. Now I understand they have to find, you know, where Thrawn is hiding, but it's like all about freaking maps. I'm like,
fucking
really,
witches.
maps and, you know, witches and, you know, I don't know. I'm definitely digging it. I don't think it's God's gift to fucking Star Wars like everybody's saying, but, you know.
Well, and I don't want to touch on everything that everybody else is saying. Here's what my feeling was. Story-wise, I think it's telling a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes an excellent Season 5 for Rebels.
Sure.
But I feel like it's sloppy at times and plays like the Fallen Order video game.
Yeah.
It's like you go to the temple, you solve a puzzle. That gives you an object. Then you take that object somewhere where you have to solve it, but you can't. So you go, you leave, you encounter some bad guys that you have to fight. You travel to an old friend, ask them for help, then fight some bad guys, and you get it. Just keeps going. I'm not shitting on it, but it seems like a very common formula that is being used over and over again in these types of TV shows and movies, and it's getting tired to me. Really quick, lastly, The Ugly. Justin kind of touched on it, but I feel the show is kind of hollow, and by that I mean, it's empty. That's the thing we got in Andor, which was like they're building this universe that has people who do jobs and do things. And so far, 2 episodes, and I don't really feel that. I know they talked about, like, you know, the ex-Empire employees who still work at the place because it's the easiest to use them.
Yeah.
But they're not building a world. And you can tell that they rely so much on shooting in the volume.
Yeah.
There's so many scenes where it's like, 2 characters standing there having dialogue and all this scenery and shit around them that's volume projected, and it's like you can tell by their acting that they're standing in an empty room basically.
Yeah, and like definitely I'm hoping in the next couple of episodes we get some more character development. Like we talked about with Rebels, like they're like, oh, you don't have to see Rebels, and some people have said like, yeah, no, I got the gist of it, but like Sabine, like if you didn't know that, you know, Ahsoka trained Sabine, and then it's like she walked away, and then now she's a Padawan, but apparently, you know, like the robot said, I forget the name of the robot. He was really funny.
Which is David Tennant, who does
David Tennant,
the voice in Rebels.
Yeah, where it's just like, you have the least amount of force ability I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but yet it's just like
you're gonna train her to be a Jedi.
Yeah. And now she's going to be a Padawan, I guess. I don't know. And then, you know, there's a lot of questions. I want to see definitely some more character development with them. I want to feel some emotion with these people.
Which I don't.
Which
not yet.
I think they kind of...
I watched Rebels.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of preying of, like, the Rebels people being like, oh, I know all about this. It's like, for me, it's like, you know, okay. Like, I got more into the episode and enjoyed it more after watching shows like Screen Crush and all those places where they're like, here's all the things that you missed. And I'm like, okay, cool. Same. I'm down. You know, like, I'll never not watch a Star Wars show.
No.
Is it the second coming of Andor? No.
Well, because, like I said, Andor has that whole world. You feel like you're watching the daily lives of people. And look, I know in the Rebels TV show you can get away with that because it's a cartoon and you expect it's 2-dimensional, it's flat. You don't need characters constantly walking around the background and all that other shit. But this is 3-dimensional. And we kind of come to expect that things go on in the background in real life because it's depth. There's depth to the show. You see the scenery. Filming in the volume, it's like, I don't feel that depth. It's great when they build a whole set in there and then just use that for like, oh, that's the desert behind.
Yeah.
But this feels like they're just using just that.
I mean, and the next episode that's coming up is only going to be about 30, 35 minutes. So it's like with credits, you're like, okay, we don't have much time to waste here. You know, like let's get to the gist of it. But overall, I mean, like I said, I didn't hate it. I liked it better than Boba Fett. I liked it better than the last season of The Mandalorian.
Sure.
So it's up there. It's just tough to beat with Andor. You know, like they really got, and maybe, you know, maybe down the line, a couple episodes in, we'll get a little bit more because I'm really fascinated with the New Republic. I'm really fascinated with, how they showed, especially in Andor, how like the New Republic's not that much different than the Sith, or the Empire, and how the First Order gets built under all this stuff. Now, I know Thrawn has something to do with it.
Yeah, I think Thrawn's going to come back, and that'll be like the beginning of all that. Justin touched on something when he and I talked, which didn't make it into his little Tolly's Take video.
How do you do?
But one, it's nice that we don't have this grand Messiah. Yeah. I know people feel like Ezra's going to be, but I don't think that he doesn't think they are, and I don't think they are. But he pointed out the Norse mythology connection. Because apparently the two villains, and I'm going to get this right, are Balin Skoll and Shin Hati, Hati,
Hati,
which are the two wolves in Norse mythology that chase each other around the earth, creating day and night.
Yeah, and they touched on that in the World Between Worlds too, where they had all the wolves.
Right. Well, that's because fucking Filoni loves fucking wolves. He's all about the fucking wolves.
Where's your hat? Put your hat on.
It's
your Filoni hat.
I should have put my hat on for this. I like the show. Like you, I'm going to watch it. You give me something Star Wars and,
yeah,
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I love, I love the character, so I just want to see how it goes, And like I said, it's a good bridge between, we're getting a lot of stuff between Jedi and Force Awakens.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, that kind of unknown area of Andor now is in that New Republic area. The whole New Republic area for me is fascinating.
Well, yeah, and I think maybe it was on Screen Crush they mentioned that they're giving you an entire new galaxy.
Yes,
off in the middle of nowhere. That can become a vehicle for all these other Star Wars side shows, movies, a whole new saga, everything. Can take place in that offshoot universe. That could be a place where all of the Jedi retreated to and got to.
I mean, hopefully we get some new characters, get away from the whole Skywalker saga kind of thing, and just, it's nice to see, we talked about with Bad Batch, where it's like the Wookiee with the lightsaber. You're like, oh, stuff like that. But I don't need, Yaddle references and shit. Like, you're just like, all right, can we move on?
I'm sure you know the story that when they were filming Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That when they were doing like the Forest of Andor and they had like Chewbacca, Peter Mayhew walking around out in the Redwood Forest, they told him, please don't wander off set because they might think you're a fucking Sasquatch and shoot you. Could you imagine?
It's a Sasquatch! He's coming right for us! Freaking gets riddled with bullets. It's just like...
That's what it was like. I think about like, you can't put on like a fucking Sasquatch suit and just walk through the woods. Someone will fucking shoot you.
Oh, yeah.
I used to joke it would be funny to get like a Yeti costume and then during a snowstorm stand on the side of the road and wave to people. I really want to do it.
Oh, I have a feeling
I think that's
going to happen.
My Halloween costume this year is a Yeti costume. And then during the snowstorms, I'll walk to the end of my road and just stand there and wave as the cars drive by and watch them skid and crash. And then they'll pull this episode of the podcast up and use it as evidence in my fucking trial. You knew they could crash. You knew those people were in danger, and you did it anyway.
Nobody gives a shit about aliens being here, apparently, so maybe the Yeti thing will get by. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking Yeti, so what? I knew they were around.
Hey, hashtag free the Yeti. Anyway.
Hashtag free the Yeti. Is that the title of this episode?
I think it might be, yeah.
AHSOKA and free the Yeti.
Free that Yeti. Stomp, stomp, stomp.
What?
The freaking backyardigans. They had the Yeti stomp. Stomp, stomp, stomp. I'm a Yeti. I'm doing that Yeti stomp.
Oh. Are we good with AHSOKA?
I think we are, yeah.
The only thing I want to talk about, I went down this rabbit hole. I found this show called The Winter King. Now, if anybody has watched Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you had, oh my God, what the fuck did I say his name was? He was the scientist guy. It was married to the girl. Oh, fuck me. But Fitz.
That's later.
It was, okay, so on Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was a character, Fitz. The actor who plays him in this show, I know it was a long way to go, plays Arthur from, Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
And that's what the show is. It takes place, it's kind of a retelling of that whole Arthur legend. But what I like about it is it's super gritty and like that show Vikings is. I don't know if you ever watch Vikings.
Yeah, I've seen some of it, yeah.
You watch that show Vikings, like, this is how fucking Vikings really actually lived.
Sure.
And that's what this show, it looks like it's turning out to be, because you watch all these King Arthur movie shows, and it's like this grand hall, a big throne, and like, you know, tapestries all over the wall and shit. And this place was like, yeah, it was like a tiny little castle and and a dirt floor with like literally campfires all around the floor to keep the place warm, and no big throne or anything like that. So it was only one episode.
Okay.
But what that did was sent me down an MGM fucking, it's on MGM Plus. It's
MGM Plus?
MGM Plus. Everybody the Plus.
Everything's a Plus.
Sent me down this MGM Plus rabbit hole of watching all their other historical drama shows. And I'm not going to get into them, but that's what happens to me. And then I fucking binge the fuck out of them. So.
Oh, boy. Yeah. No, I mean, well, like I mentioned before with the TV stuff, there was a lot of stuff that you mentioned on last week's episode. And since I had the time, since I had like a couple weeks off before I start my new job, I took your recommendations and watched a bunch of stuff. One of the ones I watched was Twisted Metal. On the peak.
And?
I loved it. I thought it was great. Anthony Mackie was I was getting a little worried, you know, like he'd be a little too goofy.
Yeah.
Dude, motherfucking Sweet Tooth.
Fuck. What's amazing about Sweet Tooth is you've got the Samoa Joe playing Sweet Tooth, but you got Will Arnett doing the voice.
Yeah, and you know what was cool about it is that it's an apocalyptic thing, but it's not filled with zombies and monsters and shit like that. It's basically like the premise of it was, what if all of our technology just shit the bed?
Yeah,
and this is what that's how
a giant EMP that knocked out all the electronics in the world.
Yeah, and that's how freaking reliant we are on technology. Is that all of a sudden it's like that goes out, the whole world goes to shit, and they start building walls about that. So it was kind of cool where it was like, it was more, and a lot of those zombie shows like Walking Dead and all that stuff, they have the zombies, but they always say, oh, you know, the biggest threat are humans. Well, in this, they were like, let's get rid of all the zombie bullshit.
Yep.
Let's just have, like, you know, certain pockets, and, you know, let's concentrate on the humans or vultures and all that stuff, and the milkmen, and it was real. It was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a TV show a long time ago that I watched that was a post-apocalyptic show, and it was about, like, these scientists created these nanites that disabled all electronics on the planet. They spread and disabled everything, and we went back to this time of, like, no electronics, and then they fucking jumped the shark and, like, but we have this USB drive that if we plug it into a computer, it'll...
Was that the J.J. Abrams one?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I watched that one episode, and I was like, Yeesh.
It was looking to be a good show, and then it just kind of fucking jumped the shark.
The only thing I liked about that show is they let the grass grow. Because that's the big joke in, like, Walking Dead. Like, who's fucking mowing all these lawns?
That's right.
It's like the prison's got a pristine fucking lawn. It's like, who's out there? Like,
I did watch that.
Gold Tooth Sabino must have been in the apocalypse. I don't know.
Jesus.
A little inside joke for you kids.
You talked last week about those episodes of Vice, the 2000s.
Yeah.
I watched those with Opie and Anthony. Howard's such a fucking dick.
Oh, yeah.
The way he goes from being like a misogynistic fucking, I don't even know what to call him, and turns into like, I'm the everyman.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah. And nobody can fucking relate to him. Like,
no.
You know, he used to be the everyman. It was like, I'm married. I can't get, I'm not getting sex anymore. Like, I have a small dick and all this shit. Like,
he was telling my life story. No,
exactly.
I'm just kidding.
That's me to a T, But then he became like, and that's what kind of drew his audience away a little bit, I think. I mean, there's always going to be the Howard people that are just like devoted to this guy. And I noticed somebody pointed out something with Howard's interviews, because he's always saying, oh, I'm such a great interviewer. He takes it, and I'm going to tell you this now, and now every time you see a Howard interview, you're going to be like, son of a bitch. He basically takes what the guest says and just repeats it. Like, it'll just be like, yeah, so it was a really tough time. I was recording this third album. Yeah, so you were recording that third album, and yeah, there was some tragedy. Well, yes, there was some tragedy. Like, I lost my father. So you lost your father. He just basically repeats the shit.
Wow.
It annoys the shit out of me now. I watch it. I'm just like, you're no fucking, But then at the other end, like, the O&A guys, I mean, Anthony's still going strong. Opie's on the beach somewhere.
I checked that out. You were like, and Opie's got like, I think we got more followers than Opie.
Yeah. It's
hey,
so...
Opie, hey, if you're listening and you want to advertise on the Hey Pa What's New podcast,
absolutely, come on,
become
now.
a Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, he still talks like he's, hot shit, but at the same time, it's just like, look, and if he's happy, he made his millions, he's got a family, he's got doggy, and he just sits out on the beach.
I don't watch Opie.
Yeah, I mean, I watch, Who Are These Podcasts? Have you ever watched that show?
No.
It's basically, they took Jocktober and just made, like, their own podcast episode about it, and basically what they do is they pull up, like, their big targets are like Stuttering John and Opie and stuff like that, and they just fucking tear apart their shows. It's called Who Are These Podcasts?
We should send them our podcast.
Oh yeah, please rip it up.
Look at
man.
these two fucking nobodies.
Yeah, that's what it is. And they basically just because Opie says some shit or like Stuttering John. If you ever follow him, oh my god, he's a freaking disaster.
Is he?
Oh yeah, he's crazy. But yeah, they basically just watch their show and just rip it apart. It's kind of sad for the fact that like these are like grown men, like they get into these like little prissy fucking battles, and you're like, dude, you're fucking 50, like stop,
Jesus,
who cares? But yeah, that was interesting. The other one that I saw going down the TV line is I did watch the Depp versus Heard.
Yes.
Very good. I enjoyed it. I like you said, how it went to the back and forth where you can kind of. It wasn't like all of Depp's testimony and then all of Amber Heard's testimony.
Right. It made it easier to follow.
Easier to follow. And, my assumption is basically the same thing as like she's, as my father would say, nuttier than a shithouse rat. And he's not that much off. But at the same time, it was like the lesser of two evils. I mean, I love Johnny Depp. I think he's, a phenomenal actor.
Sure.
I must watch fucking Black Mass like 100 times.
But that's the thing with actors, dude. Any actor that's amazing, there's something fucking wrong.
Yeah. And
that's how they get that good.
And it did seem like it was definitely the court of public opinion. Like everybody was just like, Depp pulls into the courthouse and everybody's cheering, he's waving and stuff. Amber comes by and it's like, boo, you suck.
Her career is over.
Yeah. But she also, at the same time, she tried to set him up multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Setting up cameras, like, look what a badass he is. And I learned about the mega pint.
The mega pint? So I poured myself a mega pint.
Mega pint.
That's what I talk about, like watching him do testimony. It's like he's searching for the word, and he's like, it was...
there was a
mega pint.
Yeah, and I looked into the bed and I saw excrement.
Dude, I'm looking at the picture of Johnny Depp with the fucking ice cream passed out. Who the fuck hasn't done that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I've done it.
And she's taking pictures. Oh, the other one was perfect. Like, look at him. He's passed out. It's like he's on vacation. He's taking a nap. Leave him alone,
Yeah.
And yeah, he did have drug problems, but at the same time, it was just like she was trying to paint him as like such a, and at the same time, like he's been in the public eye for so long. At the same, like nobody, Winona Ryder, Kate Moss came to his defense.
Yeah,
and all these other girlfriends, none of them came back and said, "Oh yeah, he's violent."
I feel like they were gonna call like people like Jason Momoa and stuff to testify too because
my
man, but they didn't. So
no, but it was definitely interesting, and my take on it was just basically like
hot take.
Yeah, I mean she's fucking nuttier than a shithouse rat, and fucking Johnny Depp's a little teetering off. He's got to go to the court and. Got to put on a few more bracelets. Does anybody have a scarf I can put on?
I'm looking for
mega pint.
Maybe something jade bracelet.
Yeah, you have a bracelet or maybe
anyway
a scarf.
So, Greg, let me ask you.
Yes.
Do we have any music information?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
Watch the musician from the big rock band. Now he just looks like a big fat ham. It's time for Greg's music news.
Yeah, boobies indeed, everybody. So, yeah, we got a bunch of new music that's out. One of the news TikTok things that I saw, and I didn't even realize this, apparently Anti-Flag.
What? Wait, hold on.
Hit that button. I love that one.
I gotta find that button.
Someone's been a naughty bar. Someone's grand behind. Someone pulled his pecker out, and now they're in a bind.
Play with it.
He's a very naughty boy.
Yeah, I mean, I should know the singer's name in Anti-Flag, but I was watching something. I was like, wait, when did this happen? Apparently, the singer of Anti-Flag is not a kid toucher. He's more of a very aggressive, sexually, like, maybe it starts with apist. And he was accused of it. And then the next thing you know, their website's down, all their socials are gone, and there's a statement saying, yeah, we broke up.
But they just released a new song.
Yeah, I mean...
It makes me want to yell. Yeti, 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 yeti. Stomp, stomp, stomp. I'm stomping that Yeti stomp.
Oh, shit. Yeah, told you, yeah. It's the hashtag save the Yeti.
They heard it. I mean, they must be listening. They just released that live.
Yeah. So, they all disappeared, and apparently I went down the rabbit hole of that.
Nothing screams the whole band knew what the fuck was going on. Like, all right, the jig is up. We're done.
Yeah, and then all these other TikToks came out with these, like, with these punk rock chicks going, yeah, it's been a well-known thing in the punk community that this singer is just basically like a freaking rapist and just like... So it was like, like when Rob Halford came out, it was like, no shit, at the same time, it was like, oh, really? He got accused of that?
For Anti-Flag is a rapist.
Yeah, I mean...
And your point?
Yeah, I mean, we played...
You're just finding this out?
We talk about...
Back in the days when I was young.
When we went on tour,
you went on tour?
I sure did.
Wow.
Yeah, when we did tour with POS, the first gig we played was in St. Louis, and it was us, Anti-Flag, and the UK Subs in St. Louis.
I wasn't there.
No, it was in St. Louis. But that's a whole other freaking back in the day story. Talk about Sauga, Illinois.
No thanks.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's been well documented. Anywho, so that was really the only new things as far as like news goes. Music wise, there's been a bunch of stuff that's out there. I'll touch on the full lengths first because they're
wow.
We'll go full length.
Hello.
We ain't going 6-inch, pal. We're going freaking foot long.
Hello, dum-dum.
That's
Exactly.
right. I'll play the shit out of that.
Yeah, because we always talk about singles. Actually, these bands that we were chatting about, and we've put singles on the playlist. Which, by the way, guys, get on that Hey Pal, What's New Spotify playlist for 2023. You want to hear any of these songs? Make your own opinion about them. This is just my opinion. If you don't like what I say, I don't give a fuck.
You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I ripped off that thing. So, full length wise, that band we were talking about, A Giant Dog, that one with the really weird cover. Yeah. Their full length came out called Bite. Listen to a little bit of it. It's good. It's different. I thought it was on that Live from the Rock Room. It was actually not. There was another band I was thinking about. Damn it. I think A Giant Dog that our boy Noah told me about. They're a really good band. They're a little different. That album is out. I definitely, I would say give that a shot. Another full length that came out was MXPX.
Whoa!
Yeah, Find a Way Home. Those guys are still kicking it. Wow. It sounds like
when was
MXPX.
The last time they came out with something?
They've been around. That's
what I mean.
Yeah, I mean they I think one of the other playlists we had, was it like year one or whatever it was, they had some singles, but this is like
now
a full...
we're in year 3.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuck. And so going back to the we're gonna do this one.
Can I help you, sir? Yes, what is this? Huh? This is whack. I can't get jiggy with this shit.
I thought you were dead.
Hey kids, Helmet has a new song out.
I can't do the crickets.
I was a huge fan of Helmet. Meantime and Betty, those albums, like freaking heavy groove as fuck. They have a new song out called Holiday.
It's holiday.
It's not good. I'm sorry, guys. It's not my particular cup of tea.
It's not your brand of vodka?
Exactly. They always had the one clean singer, Paige. Is it Paige Hamilton? I forget. Then the other guy who does more of the heavy stuff. it is just so disjointed, and it was a disappointment because I was like, oh man, new helmet, and I'm like, yeah, new helmet. And there's certain names of songs like Holiday. It's been used a lot. I think we have to retire the name Holiday. Between Madonna, Turnstile's got a great song, Holiday, but it's like, dude, can we be more freaking creative? So anyway, that's that. The other, I thought they were dead. I keep talking about Candlebox. Hey kids, Candlebox has got a full-length album called The Long Goodbye. They did put out an album maybe 2 years ago. Wolves, I think it was called. It was actually really good. And I'm not like a huge Candlebox, Yeah, maybe. They came out that whole post-grunge shit. Yeah, but, they had some songs and it was good, I'll say it. Simple Lessons is like one of my favorite songs. It's a Candlebox song. So they have a new album out. Stained keeps coming out with stuff in this condition. I was a big fan of Stained. But then
for about a week.
Yeah, and then What's His Nuts went solo, and he became real Trumpy right wing.
Oh boy,
let's go Brandon kind of shit. You're just
went on tour with Five Finger Death, but no,
Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Did you see that article where Kid Rock was caught drinking a Bud Light?
No.
Well, he did that whole video of him shooting up Bud Light cans because of all the freaking controversy about it, and then he's at this concert. He's got a Bud Light in his hand.
Well, when it's all they got for you to drink, what are you gonna do? Drink nothing or drink Bud Light?
It's like that shirt. It's just I'm not gay, but $20 is $20.
That's right.
Hey man, Bud Light in the house, whatever. But way to stay on there. But
I'd rather drink nothing. But go ahead.
Exactly. I can't be drinking no Bud Light. So yeah, Stained is another song called In This Condition. It's almost kind of like an EP. And like I said, I liked Stained in the beginning, and then it was been a while. I'm like, oh boy. And then now he was doing his acoustic stuff, and it's not the whole right wing. I hate to do the right wing, left wings kind of. I kind of fall in the middle personally, but it's like, when you go too extreme, when you get into the Ted Nugent category, then you're kind of like, but Ted Nugent I can forgive. Ted Nugent wrote fucking Wang Dang Sweet Poontang and freaking Stranglehold. He gets a pass.
Since you put it that way.
Yeah, come on, Cat Scratch Fever. Sometimes you can get past it a little bit, and like we always say, I don't like to I try to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
But for him to go from Stained, which is like a heavier band, then to do this like country acoustic, right wing kind of stuff, and then now going back to Stained, it's kind of like, you better deliver the goods, as my man Rob Halford would say. You better
deliver the goods.
Delivering the goods. But yeah, I don't know. So a lot of stuff out there. Oh yeah, and by the way, Miley Cyrus has a new song. What?
I really need a cricket button.
I nodded off.
The crickets. That little.
Now hold on there 1 second here.
Wow. I just wanted to throw it there. Yeah, so there is a lot of stuff out there. You got to dig, man. You got to dig. I'm honestly looking at all these new releases on the music news, and I'm like, I think I would probably recommend A Giant Dog. Couldn't tell you what song. MXPX is always a good treat, but it was tough to go. It was kind of like the Adolescence album that I love. They always put out new music, but at the same time, it's like I can't really pick a song to put on the playlist. So I think I put the Helmet one on only for the fact that, oh boy, you gotta listen to it and just be like,
I will.
This ain't good. So that's pretty much.
I'd put it on right now, but we're not monetized as it is. That's why we have a Patreon.
That's right. Yeah. So let's touch on. I'm done with the music. So you don't have to play the theme song.
You did.
Whatever. I did. Now hold on there 1 second, young fella. There you go. See why you get this stuff for free when you could be a patron. So be on the lookout for that. Actually, after we sign off on here,
okay,
I'm going to share that poll. So you guys get on there. If you're a fan of the podcast, which, by the way, like we said, we look at the numbers. They're great. Thank you. But we want this to grow. We want this to be better. We want to give you exclusive content.
We want it to be gooder.
We need your money to buy hats.
Yes, we need your money.
Dave Filoni hats are not cheap, all right?
What was that from? We need your money to buy hats.
That
was something.
That was that comedian. It's a unicorn. It's not a it's a UMICEF.
So donate
It's
now.
not a unicorn. It's a UMICEF. He's got a big Willie Johnson out there, and we need your money to buy hats. So, yeah, become a Patreon. Like, share, subscribe, listen, tell your friends, tell your mother, hide your kids, hide your wife. Put your money where your mouth is, mother.
Put something where your mouth is. Your straw.